Please record. Wonderful. Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the She is Empowered capsule interview series. Obviously, a wonderful lead off from the book She is Empowered, which was released on International Women's Day this year, March the 8th. Very, very exciting to finally have the book out there, of course, on my own imprint, which is MHP Publishing, and now with the interview series released on Miss Hennessy TV. It's been 5 years in the making to finally have some great content to put on this channel. So I couldn't think of the best or a better person to have helped me launch this incredible interview series than my dear friend, the incredible Tiana. Canterbury, how are you, babe?
Hi, I got my book right here in the bed with me.
Got it. Good woman
Love
now.
it. Congratulations. But I mean, I know I've said it a million times, but saying it again live on here. Congratulations.
Thanks, babe.
How does it feel? How does it feel to have your book out? I know you're meant to ask me questions, but I'm gonna ask questions too.
This is exactly what this series is about. So we're gonna ask each other questions, like 3 questions each, and this is perfect. Okay. So I mean, look, I'm really proud. I'm really proud that it's out, and I think I'm more so proud of the visual aspect of it, to see all of your photos on there and to just know that, you know, all of your truths are in that book. And the fact, and I say this over and over again, that you trusted me, each and every one of the 29 women that are in this book trusted me with such important, powerful rhetoric, you know, that not only your children will read, your children's children will read, other women and their children and their families who are looking for a little bit of strength, a little bit of, I need something to get me through the day. Oh my gosh, these women, everyday women, mothers, entrepreneurs, you name it, you've shared your truths and you've just worn it like a cape. And I think that's what makes me proud, is that it's in this one book that can just change the world, man. I hope it does. But how do you feel to be one of the featured co-authors in it?
Oh my gosh, like I mean, when you asked me, I was like, oh my gosh, yes. And then also, you know, when you sent through the questions, it was so, to answer them, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
It really took, I mean, I'm not going to speak for the other women, but for myself, just sitting back and reflecting on life, or just to see where I am right now and where I've come from.
Yeah.
You just, I mean, you feel inspired. You're like, I felt inspired by myself. I was so proud of myself, like just reading my story back, writing, even that process was it was such a release. Yeah. I'm not a writer, which I'm sure when you read my story, like,
I read, but you had a lot to say, and I loved that you had a lot to say.
But so next time do an audio so I can speak it. No, but no, it was such a nice process also, just to, because we get so busy with life, and so to go through that, it was a really beautiful experience. I loved it. And then to read the other women's stories, it's you know, even women that I haven't met yet, and seeing how there's, I don't know, there's some sort of connection, or I was like, oh my gosh, I feel that, you know, like,
and you know what, it's interesting that you say that, because that's been the common reaction with a lot of the ladies. Obviously, as soon as they got the book, you go to your part because you want to make sure Maxine didn't edit the wrong thing out. You want to make sure she represented you right, and I believe I did. And that's just a human trait. You want to read your story, and that's what a lot of ladies have said to me. But it's been reading the other women's stories, and then resonating with women that you haven't met, or that you may have thought you knew, but man, I didn't know her like that. That's how I felt editing and putting that book together. Your story really struck me like, oh my God, I've always known you to be this really super strong, ambitious, driven, powerful woman, but really loving, giving, caring, all of those great themes. But you had such a story behind you, like your history, even with your family, it's all entwined in how you've become the woman you are. You come from great, great female stock. Your mom is an amazing woman. Your family's brilliant, just in terms of how they are and where they come from in South Africa, both of us being South African, obviously we have that connection, but it was just like, wow, this is what makes Tiana tick. And it was almost like a little puzzle for me to put, to connect and go, wow, like my girl went through some things, and it really makes sense. And I think a lot of the
Yeah.
women I was able to go, that's why you kind of are the way you are a little bit, and we've all got that common thread, and
Oh,
I think,
totally. There was I haven't met her yet, but Naomi.
yes,
Oh,
Naomi,
just
yeah,
yeah, I loved her story,
yeah,
and that's the great part of being a part of this book is, you might think you know someone, but then when you read the history
yeah,
and see where they come from, like we've like reading her story about only having $150 and
yeah,
taking that risk, and I was just like, that was me too.
absolutely, absolutely,
It was just yeah, it was so great to also just friends like Zadie and
yeah,
Eden, and just to read their stories. And even though I speak to them on a daily,
absolutely,
it's just a nice reminder, and that inspiration, like I said, not just inspiration from myself, but also
yeah.
other women, just yeah, just to know that someone next to you is
Yeah,
just as incredible as you. Yeah.
absolutely. And I'm so glad that you said that because
Yeah.
again, a common theme I think with the reason why I probably asked all the ladies that I did, and like I said at my launch, there were other ladies that I'd asked, and I guess it's all timing. It's all about timing. It's about how you accept where you are at this particular place in your life. If you want to share your story now, or if you're not ready to, it was never meant to alienate people or make anybody feel like, oh, if I don't do this, is that a problem? If I do it, am I talking too much? It was more just, I see you like this. Even if you don't
Mm,
see yourself like this, I see you in this light. And I just wanted to share your story. So there were a few ladies that obviously didn't do it, and that was fine. There's a couple more books coming. We might get them on the
oh
front
yes,
track.
that's what we need. We need like a part two, part three.
Absolutely. And I'm working on those because I just saw the power that this book had. And I saw it just with the connectivity of all of the women. So again, the reason for this now is to break it down a little bit more and to just let some of the viewers see a little bit more about what makes some of the women tick, right? So my first question to you, and I know you like my deep and meaningful questions. I try to keep them succinct, girl, but you know how my mind works. So my first one for you
Yeah.
is, how do you ensure that you are operating at your best and most empowered self on the daily?
Well, you know me, I like to start my day off with meditation.
Yeah,
Always.
yeah,
It's it will be either meditation training or training meditation,
yeah,
and it always starts off with me first, and it
yeah,
ends off, and I love doing my meditation before bed, I mean before going to bed. So it's like that's my key. I can't stress this. I teach it in my classes, even though I teach dance, or when I have a discussion with anyone that, we'd be talking about
yeah,
life, or someone wants to know how I do it. That's my go-to is meditation, just, sitting within and just finding that inspiration, that
yeah,
self-love, that inspiration within. And once I feel ready, and this is
Yeah.
how strict I am, you know, a lot of people like to keep time and how strict their days and
Yeah, yeah,
what
yeah.
they, I'm the one that's, I'm not going to get up from this seat until I feel like I have this ball of energy and I'm ready to share.
Yeah. And there's no time on that.
No time on that. And that's my life's changed a lot because of this reason. Like I've
Okay.
cut out a lot of things. I've cut out, you know, I love that the word grind and hustle. I love that. That's gotten me to a certain point in my career.
Yeah.
But for me right now, it's I've even cut those words out.
Yeah. Isn't
You
that
know, like
interesting? Okay.
that's I've cut that out
Yeah.
and um and yeah, and I'm enjoying this next part of my journey with um really focusing on Tiana, the internal Tiana, you know, and not putting a time on it, no space, no
Yeah.
um expectations. Like I'm really enjoying this space. I mean, I'm not saying it's, you know, it's easy.
Yeah.
It's but I'm like I said, I'm feeling inspired,
And
and
that's
the
all
more
that
I
matters, I think.
yeah, the more I'm
Mm.
inspired, the more creative I am, the more I'm present in my relationships, you know, and
Yeah.
so that's what I feel keeps me empowered through the
Yeah.
day and
Absolutely.
with my relationship. So yeah, I have to that's my thing.
Okay.
It,
I like
should it
that.
be
And I,
yeah.
I like the fact that you've even said you remove certain words from your vocabulary or from the narrative where,
Yeah.
you know, those words in their own way create a pressure cooker feeling.
Mm,
I know for the longest time it was the word hustle has always had a very special part in my life because it is what we've done. It's how we've operated from day dot in the hip hop industry, right?
yeah.
We might not all be encompassed by hip hop right now, but hip hop for myself, and I speak for myself, that's always my backbone. So I always have that hustle, I always have that grind. If I'm not doing enough by my standards, then I'm failing. Whereas everyone around me, my husband, my family, my children, my friends are like, you are more than enough. And you need to start
Yes.
being able to celebrate the wins and all those sorts of things. So I think taking the step out of that hip hop environment and focusing then just on the writing aspect of my journey now and this part of my career, I've had to sit down and go, I'm running my own race. Like I've never been in competition with anyone else. It's always been
Yeah.
me that has set that benchmark, and I've set it high, and not even that I can reach at the best of times. Do you know what I'm saying? So to
Yeah.
hear
Yeah.
you say that, you've even taken those words out. I think we all need to be able to kind of reset sometimes because we can run ragged trying to impress who? You're impressing yourself, but at the end of the day, you're also running yourself ragged, basically.
Would that be like, you know, I just look, my daughter uses that word now. I'm on the grind.
Mhm.
And you know, and I think that's probably the hype she needs for herself at
Yeah.
that this time. My perspective is different. You know,
Mm.
I really just want to enjoy every moment.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
That's not like exactly what you said. Just
Yeah.
being me is enough.
It's so much. It's so enough.
So, so when there's certain words being used, like the hustle and the grind, when for me it takes me into this, and
Yeah.
so you know, for me it's like I need to remove that, and that's why when I say with my meditation, I don't leave that seat until until I feel the joy within.
Wow.
I don't want to hustle and grind for
Mm.
the joy and for the pleasures and for the abundance. I want to create it within first. And so I
Yeah.
don't, you know, I don't move and you know, that's my goal. Like it's not just me. It's like it starts with me, and then he does it as well, and we both meet back at home.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we really try to share it within the kids, and then go about our day and share it with others. Like, my teaching's different, how I teach is
You know,
different, how I communicate is
you really can feel it though. I know what you're saying, and I can feel it, because there was a time where it was so hard to get to you. At one point, you were
different.
always busy. You were always on the road. I remember I was like, I don't even know. I gotta draw the friend card here to get her to come into the radio station and just have a chat. Because, and I mean that with the highest of compliment to your work ethic. That to me is where that comes from. But to hear you say that you just want to enjoy and you don't want to do this anymore. I've only ever known you for working hard. And again, excuse the word usage, but this is the world we come from, the hustle and grind. You know,
Yeah.
so to ever get Tiana in the studio, or to have her come on a show, so you had to book months in advance. The same for Mike. You know, you guys, it's your work ethic. But I get what you're saying now when I hear you break it down. And to be able to share time and space with you now, as we're getting older and we're getting into different levels of our careers, to be able to ebb and flow together is a real gift. It's a real gift to be able to do this.
It is.
Right?
And this is what I love. I love the exchange. I want to be stimulated with conversations. Like, just before we hopped on, it was, you know, it was a day off.
Yes.
Mondays are my day offs.
Yes.
And I said, hey guys, Netflix.
Yeah.
And I put it on Netflix, and I was searching and searching and searching, and I was just like, I'm not, and I sang it. I said, I'm not stimulated.
The search on Netflix is a grind. Trust me, to be able to find a show that you can sit down and enjoy.
And then go back to like a YouTube podcast with Oprah or something that, you know, you just, even though you listen to it, sorry, look at me, like clothes falling off, sorry, audience.
It worked very well. I think you had a vibe going.
But, you know, it's one of those things, you listen to it, you kind of listen to the same things, but you just, you hear something different all the time. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to go back to that podcast or something. So, it's, I love this. And even my work is like this now. When I book classes, or I book, when I'm doing directing or anything of that sort, I always say to, if it's a client or if it's a studio, if it's a label, I kind of just set my boundaries with, I don't want to just teach a dance class. So I'm going to be talking for the first half an hour, and we're going to go through everything. And I'm going to set the room into a frequency that we all feel like we can exchange. And I let them know this. I let them know this is where I'm going with it. Even if I choreograph a video clip, it could just be a video clip. But I'm just like, just understand, like, this is me now. I'm not going to give you this and what you think. I'm going to go deep with you. And so I kind of, and if they're not down for that, then I'm like, I'm good. You know, so you get, and so that's this is what I love. This, like, reading books like this, so that I can, you know, the next time I see Weave, like, speak about this and go deeper, and like, this is what I enjoy. So
absolutely. And I mean,
question,
okay. So then my second question, obviously you wear a lot of hats, right? You're multitasker to the nth degree. We have obviously touched a little bit on one of the main characteristics of what you do. You're a choreographer, dance teacher, educator in that field, but you're also an incredible momager. Kris Jenner, watch out. You are managing your beautiful children's illustrious careers. Obviously, you have a beautiful creative family, you know, and your three amazing children all have amazing careers ahead of them, regardless of whether fame lies in the future, they are definitely going to be adding to the canvas of life with everything that they do. So major congratulations to you for that, for your
Thank
three
you.
amazing kids. But you do actively um, sort of, you know, manage and steer where they're going. And thank goodness you do, because with the way the world is, we need a lot more, you know, family managerial situations happening as opposed to letting other people direct our mini series.
Totally.
So well done to you for that. So you're doing that as well. You're an entrepreneur, so you obviously do a lot of other things outside of the dance arena. You've got your own production company, and you obviously do a lot of music video production, talent stuff. You're constantly buzzing. Okay,
Mhm.
wife, mother, all those amazing things. All of these hats, how does it feed your soul? How does each and every one of these things feed your soul? Because they're all different components of who Tiana is. So how would you best say that they feed your soul individually?
I'm always learning. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
love from each one of them. Like I'm you know, like I will say maybe a couple of years ago, I was the I know everything kind of
No,
person.
really?
I mean, no. Um,
Never.
but the shift is there's this lesson within everything. Like even, you know, having a teenage son, you know, Micah, who's 7, Lexus, who's 21 this year. It's that's a lesson in itself,
Absolutely.
right? And so all the work and all those other hats are so easy to throw on. To be
Yeah.
honest, it's like that's like it doesn't faze me. If that had to
Yeah.
tear up and fly away, I'm good.
Yeah.
But having, and this is the funny thing, when I had Lexus very young, and I feel like I didn't get the lessons then, right?
Mhm.
Being a
Yeah.
mom, and I had no idea what that was.
Yeah.
So now for me, the lesson is not the I'm the mother, you're the child,
Yeah.
let me throw my weight on you. It's like just the understanding,
Yeah.
the understanding. And also this is what I'm teaching my children now, even Micah, is what's the exchange within our space here, you and me, right?
Mm.
Forget mom, forget son, forget daughter. What is the exchange? What are we individually sharing in this space?
Yeah.
What do we want out of it individually? And I'm teaching, this is what I am teaching my children, but at the same time, I'm a student within this.
Absolutely.
And this, and then I'm going to go back to this word, feeling inspired.
Mm.
And so I, and for me, it starts with home, right? And it starts with my children, it starts with Mike. And like I said, still being a student within this and being inspired by it,
Yeah.
it, everything else, I'm that person that believes the way you do anything is the way you do everything.
Everything. Yeah.
It's the same in every field. You're not
Yeah.
going to get a different Tiana.
Yeah.
You will not. Like I'm not that. You're not going to get the nice Tiana that's quiet and smiley, and then you see her next
Yeah.
minute she's rah
No, no,
rah.
no.
You see Tiana everywhere, and so for me, I never feel challenged because I have so many hats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like
Because you're rooted in your core, and that,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And
absolutely.
I'm going to bring the same energy, the same understanding, the
Mhm.
same exchange as what I would have with my husband, with my kids. I'm going to bring that to you in
Yeah.
our space.
Yeah.
And so we'll come into work. Yeah, I get work. We'll have other sort of pressures, but those are things that are throwaways. Like
Yeah.
those are things that they don't mean shit. So
Absolutely.
to me, it doesn't feel different.
Yeah.
And if I can maintain that being grounded in every field, like I said, I'm inspired with everything I do. I love everything I do because I am inspired, and I am an inspiration in every setting that I go to.
Absolutely.
So,
And you know what, though, again, to say that, and that was beautifully put and really,
oh,
really
thank
authentic, and that's what it is about you. I think that resonates with a lot of people is you are unapologetic in your authenticity, and you always have been, whether you've had, like, whether you've been in your bad moments or your super high moments, you have always been Tiana. And if other people haven't seen that, that's because they may not be who they are at that time authentically. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And that's something I've had to make peace with myself in this journey, and especially with this book, is that through it all, I've maintained a level of integrity and a level of honesty that I haven't allowed to be stamped out or, made, um, what's the word? Insequential because I'm trying
Mhm.
to, appeal to this, to this brand, or I'm trying to impress this person. Like, it's been nothing about that. It's been, this is who Maxine is. This is
Love
what Miss
that.
Hennessy is about. It's the same person. Yes, there's a brand, but the authenticity is still connected to it. And
Mm,
when you're a writer, the vulnerability attached to that, that's a piece of my soul in every book, in every word, everything I put out. And it leaves you bare, it leaves you open. So if you're not yourself, nobody else is going to connect with that book. So,
no,
I
all connect
totally
with
agree.
you. Like it's yeah, it is. It's definitely like I always get asked this question. I sit a lot. I always have one-on-one sessions with
Mm,
dancers that are moving into the industry. Getting into the more
yeah,
working professional performers, from actors to dancers, singers, all of that.
yeah,
And the one thing I know, there's always the same question: how do you attract?
yeah,
And it's honestly it's just by being your true self. And and as I get older, that's I'm again, I can't apologize for years ago. So if you are still seeing me from years ago,
I
then
know.
you missed it all.
Missed it all, and you might need to
You
jump on
missed
the
it
change
all.
bus.
And that's no, but that's the thing. Like I'm just, yeah, I'm at a space where it's this having women like you that can see it. And
Yeah.
that's something, Maxine, I think I've said this to you before, but like I appreciate, and I said this in my speech too, where you've always seen
Hmm.
everyone else. And I admire that you have always seen and you're able to share other people's greatness. But to me, that your greatness,
Mm,
by being able to see others and
yeah.
lift others, that is without having to go, hey guys, here's me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's my
No,
book, this is me, it's
absolutely.
all about, like,
I hear
I
you.
think I asked you this in our interview.
Yep.
Don't you sometimes want to be interviewed?
And you know what the funny thing is about that? And I know, and this is how this whole series came about. You and Zadie obviously pushing me to other parts of myself, having discussions about why won't you get interviewed, And I'm like, it's, again, it comes to that whole thing. And I thank you so much for saying what you said, because I have. And I own that now. I do see everyone, and I see sparks and glints of greatness, regardless of what we may have gone through in the past, or even if I don't know you very well, I've maybe it's a gift, and I get to see it. And I do believe sharing that is more important than burying it.
Right.
It hasn't always been that successful for me trying to go after certain stories again. And like I said, some people aren't ready to share it, and that's okay. Just know that I
Yeah.
see you, and it's cool, no harm, no foul. But at this stage and this age of the game for me, it's again living that authenticity and
Yeah.
publishing my truth and not being afraid of it. And I'm not afraid of it anymore. I did for a long time feel quite doubtful, but to answer the question about why I don't like to be interviewed, because I just
Yeah.
talk too much. I think that's all it is. I don't have a cap on shit, and I don't know how to stop.
I'm with you.
And Jay's always telling me, my husband's always going, do you breathe? Do you just take a breath and then let the period stop and then go on? And I just have to offload. I can't help myself. So I think I'm so aware of it that
Yeah.
maybe I feel like it'll come across as drivel. But I know it's not. It's just me being silly. But that's probably why I don't like being interviewed.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I'd love to hear your process or read about your process. Like, what is it like? I guess it's like choreographing. I guess it's being in a studio and recording your tracks and writing a track or whatever. But it'd be really nice to see the process and hear
The process
about it.
of how I create a book or how I decide to do it. Like,
totally. Like,
okay.
how did you? Sorry, now I'm going to flip the script on you.
No, it's okay.
How, like, seriously, how did it? Why these women?
Yep.
Why women?
Why
What
women?
was the thing? Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Look, I think I touched on this a little bit at the launch party, right?
Yeah.
And I said to everyone, this idea came to me during COVID. Okay, so 2020. I think we were maybe 2 months in to quarantine and stuff like that. I mean, we didn't have it as bad as other countries, but we were still living on the edge. And for a lot of the creatives, DJs, all of the people that rely on performing, our lives pretty much ended. Right? Economically, we were done. And I think I needed something, again, that inspiration, that motivation, that fuel to awaken the other creative part of me. Because the DJing, I had to put that on hold because there was nothing going on. And I was like, I remembered saying to Jay, I said, being a, a music journalist and obviously writing on entertainers and celebrities, that's a part of my career I absolutely love doing. But there wasn't a lot happening. So I was like, I can't go and reinvent my blog again and talk to what celebrity? No one's doing anything, right? So I need to do something else. It needs to be a high purpose. And I sort of sat on it for a while and I was looking, and I had a couple of books at home that were similar to this.
Yeah.
But it was agitating me looking at the cover of the book because I couldn't relate to any of these women. I didn't look like them. None of them looked like me. They were upper echelon term, like where I say, multimillionaires, celebrities, like socialites. Okay, that's not me. That's not everyday me. Like I need. Where are the real stories, the sheroes in our community? What's going on? And then I just kind of started sitting there and I was like, oh, I've always wanted to be a biographer. So somebody who writes other people's stories. That's my thing. Always wanted to eventually write people's books, their own stories. And I went, why don't I just start with a collection of stories of women that inspire me? And I just pen to paper one night, wrote down a list, and the list grew and it grew and it grew. And then I went, no, scratch that one because used to doesn't, right? No, okay, how are we feeling? And then I was like, what is it that inspires me about these women?
Yeah.
And I wrote down the list again. And I probably had about, like I said, I had about 35 initially from that final draft. And I went, okay. And I said to Jay, I said, I think I've got an idea and I really want to give this a shot. I said, do you think they'll trust me though with it? And he sort of looked at me like, well, have you just started writing or have you not been writing for the last 18 years on other people's lives? Like, I'm sure they will, but it depends what your message is. And I said, look, these women are just heroes to me. Like in your own ways, you are all heroes to me. And I wanted a platform to show it was more Australia at the time because all of you were from here, I met you all in Australia, whether you live here or not. I've met you all here, so this was our grounding place. And through time and space, we've all had a connection. So that I needed to be the thread. And then I was like, it's just these women are empowering. But I didn't know the title yet. So it literally started like that. It was a list of women that inspire me and that I just adored and thought the world of. And I wanted to share your stories and hope that you would trust me. And the minute I sent that long love letter, because I can't send the do you want to be in something? I have to give the back, the insides, the behind the scenes, right? In the email. And the amount of yeses, just like that. Absolutely, Max. Say no less, say no more. I'm there, please. Thank you, God. I'm so honored. And it started to hit me, and I went, oh my God, this is happening. So yeah, and then it was just formulating the questions and seeing what I could get out of everybody. It was a process, but I didn't rush myself, and I thank COVID for that. COVID was a time for all of us to just sit and marinate in our creative juices, right?
Yes.
And that was the love child of that.
And the thing I love about this book, right? Sorry to interrupt you there. And
No,
what I love
that's the pause.
Is such an easy. That's the pause. It is such an easy read.
Yeah, good.
It is like it's like I love the size. When I was in Tasmania, I took it with me, and also it's a book like I love that the questions are quite consistent, right?
Yes.
So you like one night I came in and I just kind of just randomly opened and I went, okay, I'm going to read this one.
Yeah.
And I love that you can do that. It just feels like I just want to have a moment to just read a little something. And once you read someone's story, again, you just get inspired by their little chapter. And yeah, it's such a great book, honestly. Like,
good. I didn't even think.
Everything.
I didn't even think. I mean, the things that like what you've said now, and that what a few ladies have said to me. Never in my wildest dreams when I was putting this together did I think that, because you have to remember too, when I was writing it, I had to make a decision on how it was going to be published, and obviously it's not my first time at this publishing rodeo, right? So I've published a book beforehand, How to Live for Love and Hip Hop, but that wasn't published. I had no ownership on that. All I own is the words, and that's my story. That's my memoir of being a woman in hip hop and being in the hip hop community here. So the difficulty with that one was not having the creative control. And I think having had that experience, which I probably needed to have, I needed to make sure that this book was delivered in its honesty and in its authenticity. And the only way that could be done is me having complete creative control over it. And then that's where, in the process of writing the book, I then created the publishing imprint. So I thought I got to own this. So Miss Hennessy Publishing was born because of She Is Empowered. So the two literally birthed each other, if you can say that. And once I decided that, I just woke up one morning and I looked at Jay and I went, I'm going to do this, and he's like, do what you got to do. But, at the end of the day, just make sure that it's you and it's what you want to do. And then so then obviously from there was having to find the publishing partner, and then having to research that. And thank goodness I had networks in the US that was able to connect me with the right women who do these things. And I was able to then link up with Tamiko, who was the brainchild behind the layout design and all of that. And then the back end stuff, she was able to help me with, my ISBN number and getting my book uploaded into, the printing partner that I have, and making sure it's being printed in the US and also printed in Australia, so my Australian readers don't have to pay US ship. Like, there's so much to do and to learn behind all of that. It's a trip. I had to trust her with my vision again. So that was interesting. But that's the long and short of it, really. So yeah, it's been interesting.
Incredible, incredible.
Thank you.
Such a good job.
Thank you, honey. Thank you.
Mm.
But yeah, so this is where we are, and it's more just to connect with each of the ladies, and this series is just to delve a little deeper. But I really encourage people to read your story. If they don't know you, if they do know you, they'll know you a little bit more.
Yeah, oh yeah. Because I don't speak too much on any of
You
it.
don't? No, you don't really.
I really, yeah. I
You don't speak
again,
too much.
don't.
No, not at all.
Just because I feel like also there's so much to offer when it comes to me.
Yes, there is.
There's
There's a
loads of stories. Loads of stories. Yeah, so but no, it is, and everyone's stories are just, yeah, it's a must read. It is, yeah, there's some I can't wait till this COVID restrictions are like over so we can all, I mean, I know we had the launch party, but everyone together.
Absolutely, babe. Absolutely. I can't wait for that either. I really can't. But we'll get there eventually. But you know what? We're here, we're moving on, and I just want to say thank you so much for being a part of the book, because it was quintessential for me to have you as a part of that book, but just a part of my life, and we've known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's been just amazing to see your journey and to still be part of it and all of that good stuff. I couldn't ask for anything more in this lifetime than to be able to one day sit back and go, we did that and we documented that and we've created a narrative for ourselves, for women of color, for women of diversity, and She Is Empowered is a testament to that. So I thank everybody, including yourself, for making that a reality.
No, thank you for having me a part of it. I'm
Anytime.
I'm excited for the TV show.
Well, we're gonna
just remember I want my yellow couch.
That's it. We gotta talk about some behind the scenes things with that.
Okay,
but now we're gonna launch this and hope that other people get more inspired by us and by you. But thank you, T, for your time.
Thank you. Everyone get your book. This is
absolutely
me.
There she is, right there. Trying to get the photo from her was fun too, because there was a few that, because she's shy. She doesn't like taking pictures. Oh my God.
I gave you a list.
That was, yeah. In fact, trying to choose photos for all the women was kind of hard. I had to go in and choose some myself, because some of the women were delinquent and didn't come back in time. And I was like, look, we just found this. I think this works. Let's just do this. So it was a process. That's it. It was a process. But thank you, my love, for being involved in our
Thank you. Thank
Absolutely.
you so much, Matt.
Thank you. All right. So we'll pause that. Bye.